And then he tries to, as quickly as possible, even with the new stupid layout of Zoom, hit share screen.
So many buttons.
So many buttons, and they keep moving them.
So many.
Bring me everyone. What do you mean everyone?
Welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of Lemon Champ or Lucky Track Dog league you run. SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate as long as you drive it hard and build it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussions, tips, tricks, as well as news and notes from the world of amateur endurance racing. Whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough and I give you just the tip, we are sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
I'm mental. What? Jeff's here.
Yay.
I love this. I'm like only a guest, so I'm able to like one screen it because I don't have to do the recording or the editing late. I didn't even like
Editing?
the new video. I heard the difference because I was listening to the audio podcast, but I haven't video podcast. That is an excellent new intro. I love it.
Yes.
That's all mental.
Al Jones is still working on his lawsuit for using his image to promote our show, but
He's lucky enough to be.
Just try to prove those damages, Al. Try to prove damages.
irrevocably ruined his reputation.
Just bring us a hot dog.
Yep.
And we are Everyone Racers.
We are.
Welcome to an old folks episode of our show. It's episode 344, and we are recording this on May 22nd. And on this day, in 1955, Louis Chiron would finish sixth in the Monaco Grand Prix. He was 55 years old, and that officially made him the oldest driver to start a race in the Formula One World Championship. In 1958, he did enter the Monaco Grand Prix, but did not qualify. And this weekend is the Monaco Grand Prix. And if you want to beat an old guy, you should join our F1 Fantasy League, where our friend Eric Peterson is whooping everybody's butt right now. Engineers, man.
Some of it might be luck, and some of it might be extra money. Not sure.
I mean, come on. Who picked Lando 2 weeks ago? Nobody.
Nobody.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, I picked
who
him when I
doesn't
bet.
have the time
I
to
didn't bet him.
remember
I didn't
like
bet
when
him.
there's like sprint races and then it closes like a day early because of this. I've been so lost on what day everything closes. Even if I made good picks, I wouldn't be in the hunt this year.
You got to make your
just need to do
predictions
them
on
like-
Tuesday, man.
Yeah,
Literally,
when-
I'm doing mine right now. So
I
there's
got time
that.
for that.
This is not a sprint weekend. It is
No.
a regular week. And also, isn't there a way you can set it up for like auto default picks that if you don't put anything, it'll just put, I thought someone told me that.
That would be helpful.
That it'll just like if I don't
Just
do
pick
anything,
somebody,
put this
you're gonna get
baseline in.
Oh,
Right.
Ocon,
Hulkenberg
Stroll.
and Sargent.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm also in the Garage Heroes one, which is using a different platform.
Oh, yes, it is.
And that one is like totally beyond. I'm like 1 week for some reason, all of my drivers were just not on my roster anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I got no drivers.
Did you bail?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that other
I'm
one is-
still in it.
that's
It's
hard.
Still
just
in it?
like,
No,
I'm in
it
the
was
bottom.
too hard. Bill's like, you should join, and I started trying, and I was like, don't care that much.
Well, and I remember we used that one a couple of
No.
years ago.
Mm-mm.
This is a
was-
We
different
used
one.
F.
Oh,
we
it's
used
even-
F-
okay,
Oh,
yeah.
this is a
Yeah,
different
So
one.
we're back to the one we like because it
Yep.
is, I find it to be fairly user friendly. And once you kind of build your team, you can join as many leagues as you want, make your predictions. It all just happens. You don't have to do it all different. So it's awesome.
Right.
So welcome to Everyone Fantasy F1.
Oh, yeah, just for a second.
Well, aside from working on making your picks, what else are you working on? Mental.
Mental.
So I got the Super Duty transmission gasket. So now it no longer uses a quart of transmission fluid every 200 miles. In fact, it uses none.
None
So,
meaning
that's
what
great.
what's in it
or it's just not.
Are you sure it's
What's
not
in
out?
it? Yeah, no,
that's what I'm
I
getting
am,
at.
I am sure it not only is it stopped staining with the gravel in front of my house, it all looks like it's very fresh transmission fluid because it's all been running through, just like one time use, then it comes out of the back of it.
So basically, you did a flush.
Unintentionally, yes.
Yeah.
Unintentionally.
Good.
Over the
Good.
course of 1,158 miles, we
Gradually
flushed the
crop
transmission.
dusting that entire area with
Exactly.
transmission fluid.
Yes.
Mercrod. Yes. Great.
Been parts gathering for the impending ignition coil and spark plug change. We'll talk about that in listener feedback. Traveled back to Oakland for the final work weekend before this coming race at Thunderhill on the shuffle truck.
I
Mine
haven't been around.
fairly-
What the hell is the shuffle truck?
Shuffle truck is the latest Sorry for Party, courtesy of Judge Jeff Gates. It is the 77 Chevy Love that he ran back when that thing used to dominate. We don't think we'll get the entire theme done, but if you were watching our stories this weekend, it would be Mazda updates, shuffle truck updates, Mazda update, shuffle truck updates on our social medias. So we got that done. Fairly benign weekend because you guys were all out, like outdoors doing cool stuff.
We were.
Well, definitely Chrissy was.
I mean, I was for 25.51 minutes. I was out doing
which,
stuff.
by the
That's a
way,
good time. That's
Is
a really good
fast.
time.
That is really, really,
It
that's
was
just
so
fast.
fast.
What was
That's
your
really
time
good.
for, honey? You should actually tell people.
Oh,
what
it's
that
just I
time
did a
was.
5K, so I signed up for one 5K, and it's at a local brewery, and so I was going to do it anyway. It was one of those like, I got a free weekend, I'll pay somebody to run around a local town and then get a free beer afterwards. And many people have already told me, don't pay. They'll just let me go for a run, do it mediocre, and then at the finish line, they'll just hand me a beer that I already own. So it'll be a lot cheaper. But instead, I had a good time, so I was preparing for it. I've been I actually, I mean, this seems kind of silly because it's just a 5K, but I have been training, so I've been trying to run pretty darn fast. And
That's not silly at all.
well, I mean, that's like it's not like it's a marathon or a triathlon. I'm like,
No,
it's
but
just
it is a
3
5K.
miles.
And
So
if you didn't train for it, you're not going to be, you might hurt yourself and you're not going to be quick.
I mean, like I run no matter what. It's just that I was running faster because I wanted to get a certain time, break last year's time, which was what I swore the fastest time I've ever run. And this year was a minute plus faster. So, yep. And it was actually really great weather. So it was nice. It was kind of spritzing, but it was 60s and cloudy. So yeah, I was, in a tank top and shorts, and it was just the right running weather, really. So yep. I had
5 minutes per K. That's pretty quick.
No, it's 8. Well, average is 8 minutes.
8-minute miles, not K.
8-minute miles.
8-minute miles.
Yeah.
Yes.
5 minutes per K. Like 5 minutes and some change.
Sure, but nobody counts in Ks. So, but people count. If you count miles, it's about just about over 8 minutes.
I mean,
Which
15/16 of the world counts in Ks using the metric system. So
okay. Well, everybody that's listening to the show, other than Erling, they all think
No, and
in
we've got 2 Canadian listeners too.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, it was great. So yeah, I did really well. To finish the story up, and then I'll let everybody else talk. I was running, and I really do pretty well for 3 miles, but that 0.1 is like really hard for me. I like get past level.
That was 3.2.
No, it's 3.1.
3.1. Okay.
Well, maybe like 1.4 or something like that. No, it's not 1.4. That's pi. 3.1. So I get past 3 and I can see the finish line. And I'm like, you know what? I'm really tired. I've done this 2 years in a row. And when I run at home, I do the same thing. So Chris had nothing else to do but come cheer me on. And it's pretty boring to just, what and it's short. So because he was watching me where I was running, and
but it's
then
at a brewery, so I could drink beer while you were running.
Correct.
So that was fine.
Correct. And this is it. It starts the horn went off at 10 o'clock. 1:07. Okay, great. Thank you. So the horn went off at 10 o'clock. Chris is already standing there with his beer, and which is great. And so 24 minutes later, I come around the corner and Chris is standing at the 0.1 location. He is wearing hiking boots, kind of swishy pants because it's raining. And he thought that we would be in like a dirty, muddy place because we had to park in the dirt, but we didn't have to park in the dirt. So he is not in running clothes, and he's also not running this 5K. So he decides to not cheer me on, but sprint with me and then heckle me while we run from the 3 mile to the finish line.
You needed to go, you'd not give up in that last 10th.
Correct.
0.15.
And there's a lady that's running like next to me. I don't know her. She was just kind of, in the same pace. She looks over and was like, "What is this dude doing?" So
I'm about to smack this bro. I don't even know who this guy is. Do you know this guy?
I do. And it's 0.1 and I'm like dying by now. So so Chris is like, "I'm in boots. You can run faster than me. Why aren't you running faster than me?" So it worked.
It worked
because I crossed the line and it said 26, like even 26:01. And I was like, "What?" And that means, and I didn't go over the start line before the, like
super
there's time.
People.
Yeah, right. There's time in between when I actually passed the finish line or start line. So yeah, so 25.51. It was pretty awesome. And then I actually did work on cars on Sunday. I buffed the Civic. I know it sounds redonkulous, but it looked so good. It was the paint was very tired, and buffing it made it look freaking fantastic.
It's just really dirty. So just getting the dirt off the surface really worked.
It was awesome. And I mowed the lawn.
Yep.
Anyway, that's enough about me. I'm sorry I talked so much. Jeff, what are you doing? What are you up to?
Am I covering all year or just last week? No, I'm only kidding.
Whatever.
I'm going to cover last week. So I basically have just finished working my 24/7 things, and I was actually camping this weekend and teaching automotive maintenance merit badge. So that's kind of my outdoorsy thing that I guess Mental was referring to. More on that on the main topic, but got to talk about my new obsession. My new obsession. And
we know
Mental,
about it.
this might be with you because I hear this started in Las Vegas. The Nellis auction.
Because it says Nellis addiction in the notes, and I wanted to know.
Oh, I know.
Was.
It's an addiction. It's a new, not a new website. It's new in my area. Basically, this place will sell all the Amazon returns you want for like almost no money. And it's a total crapshoot. It might be broken. It might be all janky. It might be totally screwed up. And it's absolutely hilarious and fun. All of my coworkers are addicted. We're buying each other's stupid stuff for $1 and hiding it in their office. Yes, there it is right there. I bought a 3-pack of fluffy banana ducks.
No.
And stored them in my coworkers' offices today.
You did not.
Yes. Yes. You go ahead, banana. Yeah, you don't need to.
They probably don't.
We're looking for banana ducks. That's fine.
What is a banana duck?
I'm dying to know what a banana duck is.
I'm just enjoying watching Mental spell banana. So
there's a bunch of A's and a bunch of Yes.
You could see them in Vegas.
There's no banana ducks in Las Vegas.
Okay, there. I'm sure.
Do I have to do it by the location?
If you do it by Del Rand, that's actually where I am going. So,
but how do I look for good things?
Good things that you go look somewhere else.
Okay, fine.
It's a plush toy that's a banana with a bill and a feet on it.
Yeah. I did get some really good things for the garage, and I am gonna plug that. I got a side mount electric garage door opener, which is about $480 for about $200. I got like a ceiling fan for like $10, like a big 54-inch garage size ceiling fan. I got like a garage stool for like $20, like a really expensive rolly one with hydraulics on it. So I'm buying a lot of. This is how it works. You have to go pick it up.
Oh, no, I don't like that at all.
So every week you're like, I'm not buying anything today because I'm not going out there on Saturday and picking that crap up. And then you're like, oh my God, that's amazing. And it's like $1 and I'm going to buy it. And you buy something good. So once you've bought something good and you're already committed to go pick it up, you just
buy everything.
Random shit. And random shit like a banana duck is what ends up in my cart every stupid week.
Where do you have to go to get this? Like how
So
far is it?
this is it. We're going in to Delran, New Jersey, which is about 30 minutes from my house. You do get there extremely quickly. Like you scan the code, and like in less than a minute, they're putting the shit in your car.
Great.
So yeah,
There's
let me-
such random shit in this. Like,
okay, here,
do you want a CV axle assembly for a 2000 Hyundai Accent? Would you
let me
like,
find the share button here?
or would you
Screen
like a
share.
fancy dress?
It's not the bottom. It's the green thing. There you go.
Okay, here we go. So this is the one section of my tab. So yes, I bought Joy's tape because I'm building a deck. See this 6-pack of lockable storage totes? There was only 2 of them and they were broke. That's getting returned. Let's see. I bought some funny garage lights for $40. Ooh. I bought 2 rain hats for $2. Where's my Look at this. Look at this. 5-pack of E-Track, $30.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a good deal.
Yeah,
It
I gotta
is.
look at there's
Oh,
banana
there's your
ducks.
banana duck. This is a terrible podcast.
Even the
It's
cat is
hard.
impressed. The cat is
Yeah, yeah.
impressed.
Oh,
by
can I
have the
duck.
all right. Yeah, I'm gonna need a screenshot of that banana duck for the thumbnail.
Okay, I will send that. I bought a
Checo
bunch of
wants a banana duck.
screws. Yeah, here. This is a good one. This is a good one. I bought a 20-piece tool set. This is Torx and reverse Torx. $34 set, $10. I got 2 of them. The other one I
Cool.
got for $8. I'm gonna give it to DJ 914 because
Oh,
I don't even own a German car, but I've reversed Torx now. That's
Yep.
the way it works.
This is
Nice.
ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
This is funny because
Everyone-
now that you say this, I have 2 sites. I have the Dean Martin site, which is Dean Martin Boulevard down by the Strip, and then I've got the one literally by the base.
I
yeah,
should
this-
guess I should
this
find. I'm
company's-
shopping in Philadelphia, which I don't
Yes,
think I
that's what
really
you
want
should
to.
do.
Why? I don't want to go
Because
to
that's-
Philadelphia.
No, that's Delran. Oh, that's
Oh,
yeah. That's
I'm not
close
going to
me and close
Delran
you.
either.
No,
Well,
you
maybe
don't.
you can. Okay, fine.
You can have other people.
I
pick
would
up
like
your
a
stuff.
dog surgical recovery suit for abdominal wounds. It's a little onesie for a dog.
It's so much dog stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's only $1.
This
I
is-
should be talking about my real labor.
This is
here.
amazing.
Yes.
It's
so
so
That's-
much.
This is fun though.
Yeah, it is fun. By the way, don't go bid because you're going to be bidding against me. So cut it the hell out. Do not go to Nellis.
Well, I will, because even if you or I win, then you can just go pick up my shit. So, okay, fine.
So I will say that in the last year or so, I have been building my garage and just really living with my son. It's been actually a great new life, including he is now completing his Eagle Scout project.
Woo!
I think you guys pitched it like 3-4 weeks ago. or
It's in the
2-3
show
weeks
notes.
ago.
Absolutely. You
notes,
should
yeah.
totally go there.
It's in the show notes if you want to. He is just finishing up his fundraising phase. We have cleaned and cleaned and cleaned. We got these theater kids working their ass off. He is basically cleaning a loft in the theater in the high school and building a bunch of shelves out of 2x4s. And we have a big lumber bill we have to pay. So if anybody wants to throw me $5 or throw him $5, links in the show notes. Don't feel like you have to. We're pretty close.
But it's
That was
going
it.
to a good cause.
It is absolutely. And he's a lot of effort into this, a lot of emails, a lot of talking to people, a lot of planning, a lot of like, okay, here's 10 kids on this 3-hour period, come help me out. And you do that and you do this and you do this. So
That's what the
it's a-
projects are about.
yeah, it's a great leadership project. I'm very excited about it. And it also might mean that we don't have to do as much scout stuff in the future. So I guess that's cool too.
Because he's
Because
like,
you've done your
he's-
due diligence, so that's that.
yeah.
So anyway,
If he's the Eagle Scout, that's like beating the big boss of the level. Like there, you're kind of done with that level, right?
yeah, sure.
I don't
Sure.
know.
And he hates camping. So
Perfect.
It's not for everybody.
yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
Chris, what are you working on? I think you left.
I just did a wheel bearing on Snowflake yesterday. 242,000 miles on the original left front wheel bearing by the looks of it. It was pretty bad. So that's done. We swapped some cars around, got the Civic, left the Mazda at the garage, got the Civic back here to do some stuff that I didn't want to do before, like, flush the brakes. I didn't want to do that months before the race, because brake fluid. Put all the brake temp paint and stickers on all the brakes. I'd forgotten to do that. We need to do a thermostat and a water housing because one of them was, anyways, there was a nut cert seat that was stripped and wasn't working right, and I wanted to put a low temp thermostat housing, so that stuff is on order but ready to go in. And did some air ducting in the front end to try to force more air through the radiator because I know that keeping that thing cool is going to be the hardest part of this whole endeavor. The MG finally got the bumper put on. It looks straight. It looks fantastic. And I polished all of the chrome, which there's a lot of chrome for a little car. And it all turned out really nicely. I'm really happy with how it came out. So if you have some chrome to clean up, would recommend finish grade steel wool with glass cleaner and then top it off with a heavy metal polish. I used the Chemical Guys one. It worked out great. Yep.
Cool.
That's about it.
It's great.
Okay. I guess that means it's time for.
I'm not yelling. I will go first, though. So you would think little Rhode Island would like little things, but it turns out it does not like little trucks. Yes, the no fun police in the smallest state with the longest name is trying to once again ban K trucks from its roads. Nico Dementi at The Drive tells the story. Link in the show notes. In 2021, they asked all K truck owners. They passed a law that basically banned them, and they should turn in their registration because it is now invalid. But it got blacked by this state senator named Louis De Palma. Okay. But the law stayed in the books, and it was getting hot again. So Senator De Palma just proposed legislation to have all currently registered K trucks in the state grandfathered into their current owner. So they will never be able to sell it. Well, I mean, out of state they could sell it, but they will be able to register it for as long as they own it. And as soon as they don't own it or it dies, then they are off the roads forever. I guess they're, I don't know, gonna lose some value. What's up, K trucks? Come on.
Why you
Chris,
hate?
you got some opinions about Rhode Island.
Why you hate? It's very short. There's
Their
cops.
DMV is terrible and never responds to you.
Their
And that's
cops
that.
sit all along the road, even though it takes about 45 minutes to drive across the street, across
Yep.
the state,
Little roadie.
rather. Little roadie. Okay, but while states went after the K trucks and the DOT confiscated and crushed the gray market Land Rover Defenders, it appears that BMW, VW, Jaguar, and Land Rover may have been importing illegal vehicle en masse. Emmett White at Road and Track is covering a released Senate report from Ron Wyden, chairman of the Senate Finance Committee. It accuses the OEMs of using parts from blacklist Chinese parts makers. JWC, an abbreviation for a name that we won't even try to pronounce here, is accused of using forced labor and was added to the band of suppliers in last December. The Senate report claims about 8,000 Mini Coopers with banned components were sold in the United States. VW admitted a shipment of U.S.-bound vehicles is also included parts that were made by the blacklist supplier. Jaguar Land Rover is being accused of using them as spare parts. Senator Wyden said, "I'm calling on Customs and Border Protection to take several specific steps to supercharge enforcement and crack down on companies that fuel the shameful use of forced labor in China." BMW said that it will halt importation of the specific cars and this start a service issue to replace the parts. Meanwhile, Volkswagen claims they've already replaced the affected parts. Link in our show notes.
So let me get this straight. Forced labor from China is bad, but go ahead and use all the prison labor you want to in like Louisiana to like make all the plates to go on those vehicles.
Well,
No
they're
problem.
getting paid. That's the difference.
Yeah, a penny a day.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
And then they can charge them 5 cents rent.
Yep. And you got to buy stuff at the commissary. I mean, get them at the company
Right.
store.
Sorry,
Exactly.
you wanted a cigarette?
Meanwhile, in news everyone saw coming, states are falling short of tax revenues via gasoline tax. Specifically, Andrew Beckford at Motor Trend has the skinny in California and Texas and how they are taking two very different approaches to the issue. Caltrans, California Department of Transportation, claims that most residents pay around $300 annually in state gas taxes. Having just been in California. There is no way that is accurate. It's got to be like double that because all the gas is expensive unless you have an electric vehicle. And then with only about $100 registration fee, that is adding up to $200 million a year in lost revenue. They are piloting a voluntary monitoring program where participants can have a tracking device installed or submit a picture of their odometer.
Hell no. Next.
No way that a picture of the odometer will be abused or faked at all. Meanwhile, Texas is charging EV owners $200 for the annual registration to offset low gas tax revenue. That amount is claimed on an EV's average annual use. As Andrew mentions, quote, California EV owners would most likely not enjoy a doubled registration fee, but might if the alternative is everyone having to the state track their miles. These expenses mount as California is inching closer to their state ban on new internal combustion engine sales. Right now, Caltrans is hoping to entice some folks with up to $400 in incentives to hand over their data to Big Brother.
Not going to happen.
Nope.
Here's a question. How much driving do we all do out of state?
A lot.
We do kind of a lot. Like
That's what
our
I'm
commute
saying.
isn't bad, but we go to, especially because we live in small states here and there's a lot of other small states. But if you live out west and you're in one of them big states and you're not near the edge of it, like you can do a lot in one state.
Yeah.
Mm.
But all I'm saying is the rub here is that if you pay per mile, most of us, maybe not them, don't spend every mile in that state.
Yeah.
No.
Agreed.
That's other states' problem.
Yes. All right. Hey, if you remember, we reported on Hertz charging $277 to fill gas on a customer who rented an EV. And as that story broke, it turns out they've been doing it for a while. James Gilboy, who's scheduled to drive the full 24 hours at HPR next month, has the updates at the drive. After the published article last month, Hearst customers have been writing in. One prepaid $329.83 for a week with a Model 3 and expected to pay $25 for Hertz to charge it. The bill was $690, which included $475 for a fuel charge and the $25 charging fee. Another detail, Tyler charged $341, quote, skip the pump fee, which can be applied after returning the car if it's not requested beforehand. Customer service ignored his pleas until he made a social media ruckus. On Monday, a Hertz rep contacted the drive, claiming the charges were due to a, quote, systems error that has since been fixed. They also claim that we proactively reached out to customers who were affected and refunded the erroneous charge.
Sure.
To compensate them for their inconvenience, we've offered them a credit toward a future EV rental. Yep. Somehow I don't believe this from the company that was suing people for stealing their car or reporting the car stolen that were returned. They've got this system stuff down.
No, they
Jeff Hertz.
don't.
Forget.
Let me proactively reach out. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's not
After
forget.
two unflattering stories and everybody's on social media telling them what jerks they are.
Yeah, and let's not forget their entire marketing strategy for the last year and a half has been rent an EV. Every time I turn on the TV, there's frickin' never mind, your favorite quarterback, not mine. And whoever that lady is.
They got ahead of themselves and we'll have all these EVs. You know what they didn't install? Chargers.
Yeah.
Because that would make perfect sense. It comes back, you wash it, you put it on the charger, great, it's ready to go. No, didn't install it. Oh, well.
Nope.
No.
They leave them sitting in the ready to pick up aisle, no charger in sight. So it gets parked there with 100% charge. By the time you get to it, it's down to like 80.
Oh,
And there
probably
might-
didn't have 100% to start with.
And there
So-
might be, there's probably places that don't necessarily have a charger close by.
What do you
So
know if
even
you're
if
going to
you-
have a charger at your hotel or not when you
Right.
rent a car?
But I mean, there's plenty of places in the United States that don't have a whole lot of chargers around. So I feel like you might just get it and you're like, cool, I have this. Oh, wait, now I have nowhere to.
And they
charge
probably
it.
don't come with cords to charge them, right, Mental? So then when you have your EV rental, you want to charge it, even though there's a nice 50 amp plug
don't?
right in front of you. Now, remember at New Hampshire, Mental had that Kia EV, no
Yeah.
cords or anything. So he
I
had to go
missed the,
sit in a lot.
Yeah, I missed the press release because I had to go down to the shopping center.
Right. And just sit.
Even though plenty of electrons right there. Oh, well, think things through, people, before you do it.
It's almost like we're trying to change the system of transportation.
You know who? You know what company doesn't rip people off?
I don't think they do anyway. So the road racing section of Racing Junk had some good finds this week, including a 944 in Conroe, Texas. It is just $3,000. It is an 84 Porsche 944, the blown motor, used for Champ and Lemons. No title. Previous owner didn't have it. It has a new fire bottle, tons of spares, transaxle, cylinder head, control arms, intakes, blah, 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 spare wheels, tires, cylinder heads, all miscellaneous parts. They just want to go gone. Blew up twice. Don't feel like with dealing with it anymore. They only have
That's all
one
you
picture.
need to know right there. But
They only
Hey,
have one
pretty
I
picture.
got a
good
great
livery on
idea,
that.
guys. Let's go endurance race a junky 944. It'll be fine.
Hey, it's cheap and it has a cage. We have no idea what it looks like because they only
No.
have one picture.
It is,
So
and that's a
that's-
good deal for the car. It just surprises me that they're surprised that the engine blew.
Yeah, no, totally. Good livery on that. Does anybody know what the line is of that spoon character on the hood there? I am trash.
Spork,
It's a
by the way.
spork. Yeah, it's a little spork that tries to throw itself out. I am trash, and he jumps into the trash can, and they have to save him.
oh, that's funny, actually. That's good.
So it actually works really well.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh, okay.
Oh, great.
All right. Plenty of things on Racing Junk. Go there.
Yep.
Okay.
As we mentioned, Lemons is at Thunder Hill again because Sonoma was doing a repave. 114 cars, and actually that number's a little low because there was like at least one wasn't on that list. 18 of those are BMWs, 10 are Miatas, 5 are Hondas, 3 Porsches, and from Eric, quote, really affluent field of cars here. A 41 Ford, the Scrubbing Bubbles Beetle from Normal
I
Well-Adjusted
can't
Mike.
believe that still exists.
I can't
Really?
either. Phew.
I saw it at the last Underhill race. I think it turned a few laps. 84 Escort Wagon, the
Nice.
Onset PV 544 2.0, a Cherokee, a supercharged Dodge Caliper, PT Cruiser, a Bolt and a Colt,
Nice.
and a bunch more than that. Even hella sweet, his words, not mine. Your Lemon Supreme Court judges are Chris Overzet, Jim Bauman, and Brian Trainer. You
good
guys
crew.
worked with Brian at Pitt. He's awesome. Jim Ballman is part of the Sorry for Party crew when he is not racing with us. He is judging out here. And Overzet, of course, he's the guy that has Buttercup. None of them are going to put up with your weak sauce theme or any of your on-track shenanigans. 2 of them have to fly. So judge appropriately, but judge portable. Rather, bribe appropriately and bribe portable.
All right. Champ cars at Watkins Glen for their Salines Champ Yard Dog at the Glen 7+7. 92 cars, 31 BMWs, 19
Oh, it's
Miatas.
boring.
Ooh.
30,
I forgot to pause.
50 cars.
31 BMW.
50 cars are BMWs and Miatas.
19 are Miatas. 7 Hondas, 15 Porsches, an Altima, and a Subaru Impreza.
Like that's all that you found that was interesting.
Yeah.
I've been to Watkins Glen and I feel like 92 cars is kind of a lot. No?
Yeah.
If they're running the whole track, it spreads out a bit, but there's some pinch points at the Glen.
Yeah,
that
yeah, there
gonna be tight.
are. I'm surprised. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they used this name for this race, Camp Yard Dog. You figured they'd try and get away from the dog imagery with
That's hot dogs. Salene's hot dogs.
And
They're bringing all of their cars.
yeah. All right. I was just trying to think maybe stay away from Lucky Dog. and their
Marketing, the
Mm.
marketing don't go that
but
way.
it makes
Although
sense. Solomon's hot dogs.
I don't think Lucky Dog goes that. They go to
Yeah,
They don't go that far
Canada,
up.
Canada,
Pitt,
Canada rather. That
Yeah.
America's hat up there.
Lucky-
Canada.
Lucky Dog isn't there yet, but they're coming to Pittsburgh this year, so it's just a matter of time.
Yeah,
you
that'd
know
be
how
nice.
I knew Lucky Dog was coming to Pitt? Y'all
How?
told me.
Fantastic.
we did tell you.
Well researched bad decisions.
Okay,
Yep.
it's the right recent results time. Lemons is at Sebring, red flagged and ended early for a hurricane force storm that eliminated all visibility on track and destroyed everyone's easy ups and other things, I'm sure. It's pretty amazing. I saw videos on socials. The winner on laps was the Floridian Motorsports in 944. They were winning most of the race, I think. They were kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah, they're locals.
every time
they've
I
got a
l-
lot of laps at that track.
every time I looked that they seem to be winning. B went to Miss
Has
Fortune
a
Cookie.
944 won overall before?
Yeah. It's been like a single digit number of times overall.
Yeah.
But
Mr.
including
Mr. Rude, I'm
car
sure would
actually
know.
won Sebring before.
Oh, did
Mhm.
Misfortune Cookie 1B in a Mini Cooper. God's Chosen class went to Red Balls Racing in an 84 Fiero. Good for them. Orc Choice went to What's Up, watching the race, having a bud in a Land Speed 81 Chevy Citation that went to, and we talked about that on Racing Junk. That's awesome. Judge's Choice went to Disco Dragon Party in a Jetta, and the Region Award of Maximum Florida Man went to Fail Inc. Motorsports, which is amazing. Yes. Did it just go to him? Oh no, the allegedly stolen 2009 Dodge Charger patrol car.
If you guys don't know, that is Dr. Florida Man Donnie.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Heroic Fix went to Zip Tide Racing in the only Sebring at Sebring. Screwed went to Half Fast in their 01 Volkswagen Beetle. Halloween Meets Gasoline was also Half Fast Racing in the same Beetle. How do you get Screwed and also get Halloween Meets Gasoline? They must have brought it strong. IOE was WT Florida Racing, Bar Racing, Team Infinite in a 75 Dodge Dart. There's slashes there, so I assume that's like 3 teams.
Yes.
Right?
If you have not seen the videos of that Dart on the track, it is dragging door handles through every corner. It is hilarious.
That's what a Dart would do.
All right. Lucky Dog was at Atlanta Motorsports Park for their Who Let the Dogs Out, the second race of their Southern Cup. 45 cars drove in both races. On Saturday, Lucky Dog A-Class was the Soggy Bottom Boys in a 2005 Nissan. And they were 13 seconds over Dingus, right behind him in a Miata. B was Plan Z, a lap over second, and C was Mash Per Taters, and they were 4 laps ahead of the closest car. On Sunday, Mash Per Taters would win C by 7 laps. B was Dirty Air by 5 laps, and A was Average Joe's in an 06, and they won by 2 laps.
Okay. On the gram, our buddy Brett sent a link. Apparently, people in Illinois are doing shots of Malort with cicadas in them.
I clicked this link and I was very disturbed.
That's so bad.
And it's how can you make Malort worse?
Insects.
Put a bug in it. That sounds great.
The bug, but a crunchy bug.
Yeah, it's not like, tequila with the worm. You can swallow that down if you go fast enough,
squishy,
right?
Probably gets soft in the drink.
Yeah.
Why?
It's got like that.
But why? But why? Like why? Don't drink Malort. And then
you're already making bad decisions by drinking Malort. And they probably came up with that idea, a few it in. Like a few Malort shots in, like they had one and just put it in his buddy's shot. And he was hammered.
That's for
sure. Yeah, right. That seems like a good idea.
If you read the link, we've got a link to the Instagram where the guy says someone is putting cicadas in Malort. I got to get the F out of Illinois.
And then everybody posted said that's not the only reason to get out of Illinois.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, also on the socials, I posted a picture of the Super Duty dropping off some scrap metal. David Eckel posted a picture of his Super Duty 5.4, commented on our YouTube as well. Matt F said, I borrowed one of the 5.4 gassers from my neighbor one time. I literally watched the gas gauge empty. Single digits MPG. I hope yours is better. It is not.
Ted Fort chimed in. I feel like the diesel is so often a false economy, though. His van gets 22 miles per gallon, which he says is fine, but the cost per mile is pretty much the same as if it got 16, and the maintenance is even worse. So it's kind of a trade-off, I guess. Randy B from the land of Pittsburgh added, saying the 6.8 V10 in the E450, that's a van.
Bus.
Or bus.
Church bus.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
Church bus. Tow rig gets around 8 miles per gallon, so it's like 2 extra cylinders that are completely free. It's great. DJ914, Eric said, the 928. Because you had some 928 fenders on there, right?
It was all 928 bits, yes.
Oh, okay. It was all 928 bits. He said, the 928, a car I've always wanted to own and drive, but will never do so. Glad you're using the pickup truck for pickup duties, unlike most Americans who just drive him to the lake.
And our buddy Brett said, why you ruined Classic? Someone with maybe more time and a whole lot more money than sense could have fixed them doors. And the only reason I was holding on to that is I had a misguided attempt at an art project. So, but again, deadlines for projects. If I make no progress, project goes to trash.
And they were mostly aluminum, so it's not like you could like
Yes.
welded it together into something.
Hood, fenders, doors, all aluminum in that car. As I mentioned, I kept having this argument. I'm putting the stuff in the aluminum, and the guys are coming and go, no, aluminum. I'm like, this is aluminum. And then they come over there with their magnet and touch it and be like, oh. And then I keep doing it. Another guy comes over and I'm like, we just had this discussion 3 times.
Oh, my life is too busy to go to the scrapyard. I just leave it in front of my yard and the scrap guy comes and gets it.
That's not a bad way to go, unless you get a bunch. All right, so the feedback on Metal's Super Duty continued on the YouTube. Andrew Lemke advised the spark plug extractor tool will indeed be needed if you do the spark plugs. However, to greatly lessen the chances of them breaking, I would suggest either squirting some Kroll or Marvel mystery oil down the spark plug holes and then drive the truck for a week. When you go to change them, get the engine good and hot and work fast to crack them all loose. Running a decarbonizing combustion chamber clean also helps, according to some, so that might be worth a try as well. In either case, you're almost guaranteed to break at least one, so just accept the misery if you decide to do that job.
Got the exact same, almost verbatim input from Brian at We Like the Tuna here. And Jeff Gates said, hey, the trick to that is squirt some mystery oil down there and drive it around for a week. So I've already gotten the tool for the broken spark plug, as well as the replacement one-piece champion spark plugs, which are way more expensive than the regular ones, but they are less inclined to break as you replace them. The attempt to do all of this shall be next week, along with the ignition coils.
I can't wait to hear how it goes. David E. said, I too drive an early aughts F350 crew cab long bed 2-wheel drive and feel I must defend the honor of all Super Duties. Mine has a 5.42 valve, so no spark plug right nightmares, and a sweet extra tall Lear camper cap that I snagged for $200. Aside from needing cam chains, bad tensioner, and trans rebuild leaking from the seal, it's been great. I get between 12 to 13 miles a gallon or something like that. It's best not to check. It's great. It's white. We call it the Meg.
Michael K. Say what?
I was going to say, he spells Super Duty the right way.
No,
in his post.
That's the name of the truck. D-O-O-D-Y. Duty.
You spell it duty.
That's the name of that truck. It lived in a field for a year before I came and got it.
I'm joking. His a turd.
Our good buddy, Michael K. As some might imagine, if they have met me, it is hard to pick just one janky story. Probably the worst is a favor to the co-owner of our race cars to go 8 hours away to pick up not one, not two, but 3 1960s 3-door Suburbans, plus 2 engines, a transmission, and parts enough to fill the back of those burbs. The comedy of errors that ensued coming home are all funny now, but not at the time. No one who's met Michael is surprised. One was driven. It lost a wheel. One was loaded onto my trailer with both engines and the transmission. So the trailer promptly lost all running lights. And with the return trip 100% in the dark, the third was our chief mechanic's trailer, slightly overloaded. We found that the integrated compression brakes on his new truck could not be fully turned off, causing epic trailer sway on each downhill. He also mentioned that when I ran out of gas the second time, I can almost guarantee you were in Tucumari, New Mexico. Don't care what you say. It is the vortex of car collapse on I-40.
Wow.
There we go. I love that story. I'm sorry I wasn't here for the janky episode. Randy said, as usual, most of the important parts of Gingerman Race happened off the track, so he's adding to your Gingerman stories. The team with the Austin showed up with an Irish priest who ran the Irish car bomb stand at the potluck. I've never seen a grown man get blasted exclusively on car bombs in broad daylight, but I'm better having witnessed it. Okay, Randy. Team brought, I shit you not, he says, about 5 gallons of macaroni salad to the potluck, but they were like an hour late.
Oh my goodness.
Randy told them to wander around the paddock that night feeding the drunks macaroni salad, since they honestly would be pretty sick. And he said in all capitals, the goddamn Northern Lights. Only in a Lemons paddock will someone dressed as an astronaut come grab you at midnight to look at the Aurora Borealis. Good for him. I haven't seen it. So
there were all kinds of pictures from that weekend. It was a bizarre reach almost to the middle of the country, and the pictures from that weekend are amazing.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures. Anyway.
It's
Do you
pretty
have any
cloudy
idea? His last comment was, "Do you have any idea how confused you can make a Jersey Mike's employee when you pick up a few crates of subs in a Jersey Mike and the Boys T-shirt?" No, Randy, I do not.
But we do now. Yeah, he usually doesn't confuse the people at Jersey Mike's.
No, I don't know that she's been there.
Well, she doesn't confuse them unless she looks for the
Probably
Aurora
not.
Borealis contained exclusively within their restaurant.
Those of us who live near New
Steamed hams.
Jersey don't go to Jersey Mike's because we have good sub
Much-
shops near us.
Yeah,
Much better
Mike's.
places.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. We go to Mike's.
There's a guy named Mike. Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
Hello, Chrissy's mother.
Jeff
Hi,
would love
Chrissy's
to hear
mom. It's
from
been a
you.
while.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Got the
Okay.
cookies.
Great.
Right. Yes.
Great birthday. It was a while ago.
Yep.
But that's great. Glad you
It
got
was.
them. Hopefully they were on time and weren't stale. Anyway, Jeff.
Yeah, so I came here today to talk about helping the Utes. I was waiting for one
Yeah.
of you to say. The
Yeah.
what?
What's a
What?
Ute?
I know
What's a
we know
Ute?
what
Thank
it
you.
is.
I know. So yeah, I recently had the pleasure of teaching automotive maintenance merit badge to a bunch of the BSA scouts. That's what I mentioned earlier, and this was a Herculean effort. So I had 2 different classes of kids, and I had them on 2 separate weekends, and I had them for 2 hours each time. So the merit badge itself is like really long. Like there's a ton of stuff. Like it could be a year's long worth of
That's
of, like,
why.
automotive like maintenance class. And I put this link, we'll put the link in the show notes. Everybody go ahead and click that if you'd like. I'll tell a couple stories, but just really take in the depth of this thing. There was a lot of crap that I had to get these kids to do. And they showed up with everything from like, hi, I've never touched a car, to like, I've been dodging wrenches that my dad threw since I've been 4. So
It's a
like,
17-page long
it's a
form.
But it's
17-page
also
long
a
document.
workbook. So
It's
they
a
have to
workbook. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is not just like learn about it and like you explain the requirements, review the maintenance chart and explain the requirements and time limits.
Yeah, it's like a lot of it is like discuss and explain and do this. So I actually like sent a lot of YouTube videos. So I had all of their emails before they got there. So I was like, I don't have time to explain like how a motor works. Go watch this video. I don't have time to explain like what the different drivetrains are between like front wheel drive and rear wheel drive and a transmission and a motor. Go watch this. I don't have time to start at the beginning of like tools. Go watch this. So I really got a lot of the more like researchy things done before I ever saw them. Go ahead, Chrissy.
Did they watch it? Did they actually do that?
So I did cover everything very quickly,
Mm-hmm.
and they had to write the answers in the boxes.
I wasn't sure if they were good at pre-work because
So,
sometimes you're not.
And again, it varies. Some did and some didn't. So I don't know, but they don't get away with just watching it. They have to write in the boxes. So we'll see. But I didn't have time to cover it all. It was crazy.
What I'm enjoying about this is it's also teaching them some financial literacy about car payments and how to shop for a car and what you're looking for on this one.
Yeah.
This is like everything you could need to know. It's not even car maintenance. It's like everything.
It's like everything. It's like, tell me how you register a car in your state and why you have to do
Right?
it.
And how
It's
long
like,
admissions?
What the hell does
and
that have to do with like what we're doing today? It
Oh.
was crazy.
Diagram and explain one of the following, either a starting charging system, hybrid or electric vehicle inverter, or the lighting system.
It was crazy how much they had.
I don't know that I know
So,
some of these answers.
I really focused on like the things I could cover with them in front of me and have them touch things. Like I don't have time to teach you like what a front wheel drive car looks, but I'm going to bring a front wheel drive and a rear wheel drive car and I'm going to say, if you watch the video, you already understand this.
Here's a
Transverse
burnout in
longitudinal
one,
lines.
and here's a burnout in the other.
Yeah, well, no, we didn't do that. We were at camp, so there was one part that was like the hands-on part, and it was number 11 if anybody wants to go to their sheet. One of them is like determine the value of 3 different vehicles and find the requirements and the cost and blah blah. Bull crap. Nobody wants that. That's like the
Okay.
worst, boringest thing ever.
Explain the symbols that light up on the dashboard and the difference
I'm gonna
between
talk
yellow
about
and red, because I feel like every Uber driver in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to talk about that. So you had to do two of the following. One, this big workshop on comparing insurance. They had to research insurance.
Good.
Oh, that's so
I
freaking
come up with,
boring.
Not just what's your
Operation
best
Best.
price.
So
I mean,
boring.
Call your uncle or your best friend who works in insurance and say, "Here's my policy. Is it right?" Because literally, that's what everybody that we know does with Chris.
and the answer 3/4 of the time is
Yeah.
not
No.
enough.
So I asked them, which one do you want to do? Nobody picked A. They were like, no.
Yeah.
B, use a car cleaner, wax your car, explain clear code, explain clean the vehicle, both inside and out, wax the interior. Okay. Second one, or third one, locate the manufacturer's jack, change a tire. Third one, oil change. Or fourth one, oil change. Which one do you think most of the kids wanted to do? Go ahead,
The
Benson,
car
get your hand up
cleaner.
for that.
I'm going to say most of them want to change the oil.
Chrissy's right. A whole bunch of them were like, I want to learn how to clean a car.
Okay.
I was
Because
like, well,
the
screw you, Jeff, don't do that.
yeah,
That was a great
I know all things that Jeff does. Cleaning is not the one.
okay, Jeff, you missed a golden opportunity. Great. Here's a car that you can clean.
Right.
Scoutmaster Jeff, this appears to be your car. Shut up. Get to cleaning.
That's like what I do.
And that's like advanced level cleaning. So
Oh,
Exactly.
absolutely.
I actually made them do two oil changes on two of my cars that needed it.
That's-
So there you go. So I got
good.
2 free oil. I paid for
Also,
oil.
you might have oil dumping out of your cars, and you know.
No,
when you-
I was there. I monitored them.
Okay,
so.
good. All
No,
right.
I do want, because when you suggested this topic, and Chrissy, you've got some input on this one too. This is one of my beefs, and I get very upset about people that get all gatekeepy, especially your Sunday morning car show, hot rod, don't touch it, sit in front of my Corvette with a lawn chair crowd. The youth of America is not into cars anymore. What are you doing about that? Are you actively engaging people when they see this sort of thing? Are you when someone sees that you've got a cool car, are you happy to talk to them about it? Do you open the door? Do you show things off? Do you tell them stories? And
Depends
there
on
are
what it is,
people-
but
yeah,
yes.
true. There are people that are in this hobby that are out there doing that. And then there's other people that aren't, and they're always just, get away from my car. Rah! Just why you got to be a jerk. And you're the reason that young people aren't getting into this hobby. And I would also, what I'm liking about, I'm seeing this merit badge, and we were having this discussion, is there are an entire generation of young people who don't know how to troubleshoot, not because they're lazy or entitled or whatever the boomer answer is, but because everything works. So they don't
That's
know how to
interesting,
fix
yeah.
their car on the side of the road because they've never been stuck on the side of the road, as Chris is going through and undoing all of the sin on his MG that was done out of necessity. And this is why I felt relatively confident charging across the country in a giant truck. You just having made a lot of mistakes in the past, addressing this sort of thing. And if you want to stem this curb of negativity, then you've got to be the one out there engaging these people and finding the part that they're interested in.
Here's the next Everyone Racers hat. Make America Janky Again. Mental ward.
And
honestly.
there's our title.
Well, and this was really like my ethos. I really wanted them not to be afraid to say, I'm going to Google a YouTube that tells me how to do this. So that was actually a lot of the things I did. Like this whole part about like what to, learn what a V8 and a 4-cylinder and transverse thing. I brought the Nissan Titan and the Veloster N, and I had a hybrid Hyundai Tucson, and I had them all next to each other. And I brought them to each one, and I ripped the beauty cover off. And I said, let's do a tour. This is a motor, this is a transmission, transverse, irregular. Look at, where's dipstick? Look, little circle yellow. Coolant, see the little symbol? Coils, look at them right there. And then we move to the other one. It's a V8, they're on the side. Find the coils. Where's the dipstick? Where's the this? When you pull the beauty covers off of these things, they all look the same. you can really find it. And that's what I wanted them to say. Like, it doesn't really matter what it is, an old pickup truck or a new performance car. And then we went to the hybrid. And I was like, look, if you go from here to the right, it's a regular 4-cylinder car. You go from here to the left, all that orange shit, don't touch it.
Yeah.
That's the high voltage stuff. But you could change the oil in this. You could change the spark plugs. You could do this. So that was a big part of like my ethos. So yeah, that was kind of, and I showed him, like, I had to show him like the coolant pathways and the fuse box. Like, every single one of those cars had these same exact clips holding the air box together. So it was really easy to be like, could you change the air cleaner in this car? Well, yeah, it looks just like the one you showed us. Right. Could you find where the oil check? Could you find where the oil goes? Could you find the coolant bottle? Could you find this? So anyway, so we're doing this, and this random little kid looks at me. He's probably like 12 years old. He's like 80 pounds. He's like, are we going to see anything with a carburetor? No, kid, we're not.
Although having an MG and not knowing much about an MG in my garage, I feel like, sure, all of those things might be there. It just looks so
It's
different.
just so different. Yeah, yeah. I was really assuming that these kids are going to own a car from like 2005.
Correct. They're not going to own an MG.
You know?
Just noting.
So anyway, so
compared
the
to modern cars, I mean, the modern cars are spaceships compared to the MG. Like,
Correct.
Yeah. So the first class, we really attacked the wheels and tires because I wanted to do this like tire change thing. But I also had to teach them like all the tools and all the safety. So locate the jack and change a tire with the jack in the truck and be safe about it. No, that's not going to happen. So I just literally showed him where the jack was, said, by the way, your car might not even have a jack or a spare in it. Yeah, Mental's car, my Hyundai right next to it didn't have one. So I basically told him, you might not even have a jack. You gotta, if I blew a tire in my daily driver, I'd call AAA. So some dad calls me later. He says, what are you teaching him in this class? I was like, what? He said, if you get a flat tire, call AA. AAA, not AA.
You're missing an A there, Junior.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't know what they stand for, then
Yeah.
why do you need 3 when you have
Anyway,
2?
I taught him how to safely
good.
jack. We put glasses on. We put on the PPE. We did everything
Yes.
we can do. Used the big Harbor Freight Daytona. I showed him how to find where the jack points were, how to use jack stands. And then we basically did a tire rotation. I had to pull the tires off and show him the tread wear, the date codes, and the longitudinal bars.
That's good.
And like how to use the torque wrench. And, like, you're not going to be strong enough, so get a bigger tool. But even you with a big enough tool can break that bolt. I tried to like really give him the ethos while we changed the tires. So that was fun. Second class, I gave him a whole bunch more videos, and I gave him the dashboard lights, and I had to do transmissions. I gave him a Chris Fix video and a Project Farm video that basically they bought a used car and they did everything on it to make it reliable. And I said, look, these are great videos because it's exactly what you would do if you were 17 years old and you bought a car. So, and one kid was like, I love
it's what
Chris
you would
Fix.
do when we were 17 years old and we bought a car.
Exactly. Or what they should be doing, I should say. And one kid was like, I love Chris Fix. I'm like, yeah, I've met him. What? So Chris Fix, if you're out there, we love you. And then Carburetor Kid goes, are we going to do any drum brakes?
And Jeff said, let me show you my hand. I'm really not good at drum brakes, so no.
We're gonna do drum brakes right after Jeff cleans his car. No, we're not doing drum brakes.
No. I mean, I could do drum brakes. I just don't want to do drum brakes. I'm not doing
no
drum
one
brakes.
wants to do drum brakes.
No.
It's easier to do a disc conversion than to do drum brakes.
Yeah. So you could put this on. Should I share this? I should share this, right?
You should absolutely
Sure.
share this.
I'm going to share this screen here. So I gave them a quiz because I had given them I had given them a video that showed all the dashboard lights. So I gave them this as a quiz. Like they showed it for the first class. I was like, well, did y'all watch the videos? And some of them were like, yeah. Some of them were like, no. So I immediately gave them this quiz, and they had to figure out every single dashboard light
And which ones they could ignore.
and which ones they could ignore. And I talked about the yellow and the red, whatever, blah, 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 blah. They were like, I literally like E there. Everyone look at E. It says miles 18. I was like, anybody know what this is? And some of the parents were around, so I gave them copies too. And they were like, is that the tripometer? I'm like, no, it's the odometer. They're like, oh, I've never seen one with that low on it.
That must
This
be
is-
wrong.
Yeah.
This is a good example to use because this is a Volkswagen instrument cluster.
It
That's
is
the
very
picture.
good. Circle gets a square.
Yeah, so that means that most of these lights are going to be on.
They're on, yes. Except I've owned, well, the Volkswagens that I've owned did not have all of these lights. I don't know what that little square is, though. The little, is it an exhaust?
So you see the two up front top there, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what they mean? This was the bonus question. Mental does.
Hang on, I gotta
Got
get a
cat
little
in your lap,
closer
I
to
see.
those. Right? Yeah, I got a cat.
So I'll explain it for the
Top
visual
one I
listeners
think is,
while you're looking.
I think they're diesel. The top left one is probably the diesel particulate filter.
Yep. It
or
looks like
diesel
a
exhaust
muffler
filter
with
is
like
full.
dots in it.
Yeah,
How
and
did
the one
you-
to the right
Mental
is the
has
glow.
I
fireworks
have no
happening.
idea.
Glow plug.
I just
happened?
I did an update on the computer, and now when I do
Oh.
this, okay, yeah, there you go.
That's awesome. Nope, not me. Yeah, so some kid knew the diesel one.
No way.
Yeah, some kid knew the diesel one, and it
Oh.
wasn't.
He was the carburetor
kid.
kid.
It wasn't carburetor kid. So that was fun because all the
That
all
was
the
diesel
parents. Yeah, it was diesel kid. Some kid had a truck. So anyway, I had to show him like electric stuff. This was fun because I actually messaged all you people to like see if this would work. So I had to show him like I showed him like the off-road lights, and look, you want to put in off-road lights, you want to do a radio install, you're going to end up doing electric. So I had to show him like, okay, so there's the wires. Look how I ran them. That's a relay. That's the thing. This is an inline fuse. How does a fuse work? You know, showed it to him. I passed it around, blade fuse, passed it around, and then I brought it back and I had alligator clips. I was like, everybody get real close. And they all kind of got real close. I said, what happens if I put the alligator clips on both sides? And a random kid says, it'll blow up. I'm like, it won't blow up. Trust me. And I put it on and it goes like, spark. And then I handed it around, and they were like really cool because they could see the difference between when it, you know, I literally handed it to them a second ago, and you could see the little loop, and then again you could see it again. Not everybody saw the spark. So then I
No,
say,
that's totally a worthwhile thing. Like you say, well, check your fuses. Well, if you don't know what it looks
you know
like,
what
when
a
it's
fuse looks
blown,
like
like,
exactly.
great, yeah.
So then I pulled out the Wallo bad boy horn that I have because I love Wallo and horns. I'm like Homer. I would have every horn on my car if I could.
Here,
So I
here, and here.
Yeah, exactly. So I stuck it on the grill of the Titan, which is like right at the kid's face height, right? All of them. And I'm like, look, everybody, see, there's like a plus and a minus, and we're talking about, you know, positive and negative. Now, what would happen if I put the alligator clips on the plus and the minus? Same kid in the back's going, it's gonna blow. And they're all like, ha ha ha, it's not gonna blow up, ha ha ha. And I click it and it like honks right in their freaking face. It was like,
No.
like, "Ah!" Hilarious.
Oh, watching kid. This is like train horn videos, which I can
It
watch
is.
like
It kind
all
of
night
was, yeah.
because when big cars have a train horn and they don't realize it, and then you scare people. It's exactly what you just did. You just scared small
It's
children.
hilarious because the kid used the same. It was like, what's the fuse gonna do? It's gonna blow. What's the horn gonna do? It's gonna blow.
And now it just made you fall over and pee your pants. So
Yeah,
that's
it's true.
hilarious.
So I
But he
showed him.
wasn't wrong. The
He
horn
wasn't wrong.
did in
He was
fact
totally right.
blow.
Totally right. Anyway, I showed him a code reader. I showed him how to read a code, and I told them all like, okay, everyone, P0300, look it up. You know, people, you know, and then I talked to him about, oops, sorry, I hit my microphone there. And then I talked to him about, okay, so you Googled it. It's a misfire. What would you do if you had a misfire? You watch the video. What are the components? Because I was supposed to teach him like how ignition system works. So the kid who knew something could explain like, no spark, right? No fuel, right? And so it was really good. And mental, just like you said, teach them. I told them it's like a murder mystery. You have clues and you have to follow it to figure out what's wrong. So just like mental said, teach them that it's a puzzle. Teach them that they can figure it out. Teach them that they can.
Puzzle is actually Chris. when we
Oh,
did
Chris said,
the Honda episode.
So then we had to do the oil change. So, all right, everybody. Class A in the morning did the Titan. Class B did the Corvette in the afternoon. And all the dads were walking around going, "You gonna let him touch your Corvette?" And it's funny
You're like,
because
it's my wife's Corvette. What do you?
it's
It's
true.
fine.
But some of the kids were so small, I literally had to pull like a picnic table against the Titan so they could see into the hood.
Mm-hmm.
Once it's jacked up to get the wheels off, like think about how high the hood is.
Yeah.
So I told them all, "Oh, it's because the kids in the afternoon are short. That's why we're doing the Corvette."
Okay.
So we did the oil
Epic.
change. Nobody leaked. Nobody died. It's like, and I had a lot of kids in the class, so I'd be like, "Okay, everyone, this is how you do it. 3 of you get under the car. Point, point, point. Get out. 3 new. Point, point. There's the filter. There's the plug. There's the thing. Now get out. There's the filter. There's the pan. There's the plug. Get out. There's the filter. There's the pan. There's the plug. Okay, first kid with the proper PPE and a 14 millimeter wrench gets to loosen the oil. Like, they all run to the table with the glasses on. That's pretty funny.
Like a relay race.
And you
With
got your oil change.
And you got your oil change.
Yeah,
All
the oil
right.
change, yeah.
Which is
Again, let me
amazing.
tell you, the tow pig needs some love, man. It's got a clicking axle in it. It was like, I'm like, whoo, we got to do a lot of work on it. They all need baths. Oh,
Duh.
yeah.
Next,
Anyway,
next up, the detailing merit badge.
exactly. 100%.
Oh, I'll help with that one.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
it's funny. So I used videos a lot. I used a lot of things. I tried to get them to do a lot of work. 6 of them like showed up with the entire packet completely filled out. They were like, "I'm done. Here's my paperwork."
Wow.
So we finished on Saturday. I've gotten like 4 more in the email. So I've like 15 of them that are still outstanding. And I just sent them a whole nother set of videos. Like, okay, I covered this really fast, but if you missed it, here's a video, here's a video, here's a video. So
Is this all you did all weekend? There's this just one batch.
it
I mean, this is a lot, but
it was one day. It was all
Yeah.
day Saturday. So 1 class in the morning, 1 class in the afternoon.
this is a lot.
And it was raining
Yeah.
too. So I was like soaking wet and it was oh no, everything that I've read, that was both classes. Those 2 Saturdays.
Right. No, but it's still a lot.
It's a lot.
It's
Yeah.
also it's a lot for you. Like this
Oh.
is a long freaking day.
I was hammer beaten dog shit after this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After the first one, because the pollen was like covering all the cars, like I couldn't breathe for 3 days. I ended up taking Monday off because I was just so stuffed up. And it was graduation week. So like I have
So you're
to
not
be-
like you're doing anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, like I have
Right.
to be healthy for the second half of the week. So I had to take off Monday. So there it is. I blew through it today, but I wanted to ask you, like, if there's anybody out there who can think of something that I could have done differently, if there's any like important things that I could have done.
Well,
And I
this
didn't
is-
cover everything that I did. I just,
So 2 weeks ago, I was doing the Skip Barber School, and one of the blocks of the Skip Barber curriculum is exactly that: basic automotive maintenance. Open the hood. Here's what you're looking for when you're looking for a transmission. Here's what you're looking for when you're looking for oil fluid checks. Here's where you put this. These are what the numbers on the tires mean. This is what the sizes look like. This is what the date codes look like, and all the other stuff. And here's where you're going to find all this information.
Yeah.
So there are now functional adults who work for robot taxi companies that do not have this information.
Mhm. Yeah, I played a game with them at one point where I had already told them all the names of the tools, and I basically took all the tools that I owned in high school. Like, okay, the first day
So
we did
vice
all the
grips, and then it was
tools.
over.
And then the second one was like, you might have been intimidated by all the tools that I showed you. This box is exactly what you need to have a basic box. And I took each tool out and I put it on the table and I said, as I put it out, write down on your sheet what the real name of it is. Not what your dad calls it, what the real name of it is.
Oh,
And then we went around the
that's
circle.
difficult.
And if they knew the real name, I could put it back in the box.
All right.
That's some great pedagogy.
Yeah.
What do you
There are things that I would struggle to know what the actual name is.
Oh, sure. I mean, how many different pliers are there?
I was going to say, I was like, snips or snips? Are they have other names than snips? Not sure.
I mean, do you mean
I-
diagonal?
10 snips,
You-
there's
shears.
dykes, there's strippers.
Right. Well, at work, I had to think about what liquid wrench is, like what it
Weasel
actually.
piss?
So I wanted to say. I was like, stuff that's spray, like, oh, that's
yeah.
what I was like, that's what we call it. So, yes, there are things that are in our vernacular that I am not sure that I would struggle to.
If you missed that, listeners, it's weasel piss.
Weasel
That's
piss,
what we
yes.
call it.
That's what we call it. There was a dad hanging at the edges who was like a professional mechanic.
Oh no.
And every once in a while I would like struggle with something and he'd yell out the answer and I'd be like, thank you. Like when we were doing the date code, I was like, let me see, it's year than week than year than week. He goes, year than week. Yes, year than week. Thank you.
You probably should have asked him to come over and help you because it sounded like you were stretched pretty thin. Probably could have had an extra.
Not really. Honestly, the extra bodies would only made it worse.
Oh, because there's too many people
Because
in
there's
the
like I
involved.
had to like keep like and then like there were some girls are in Boy Scouts now, by the way. There were some like girls in the back that were like intimidated and they wouldn't come up. So I had to be like, not everyone has looked yet. I know some of you haven't gotten under yet. Come on. Like there were like 3 girls who were like way into it, and then like a couple of girls that were like way not into it, and then like a couple of cool dudes who were like, I already know this. I'm not gonna get down and look at it. Bullshit. You've never seen it. Let's go. So I don't know. It was a struggle. But fun. I would do it again. I would just do it at my house. Loading everything to take it to camp to do it there.
Yeah.
Oh, the good news is now
So
you've built the
much.
curriculum. You could do this over and over.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, that's it. And what any questions before we move on?
Chrissy and Metal have done a lot more of this than I have. The best I did is in high school, we had to do a quick presentation, like a half hour, to our peers in our class. And of course, I just told people how and why they should change their oil. And I changed the oil in the MG in the front circle of my private school in the front yard there. And that was fun.
That's good.
Yeah, Chrissy, you did this with the Girl Scouts once, right?
So I did. I wasn't actually, I had grand plans to do with Girl Scouts. It was one of those, couldn't find the weekend, couldn't find the right place. We didn't end up doing it with Girl Scouts, but I was invited to, there was a like kind of a girls camp. Actually, it was downtown, I believe it was. And it was teen girls and they were kind of just a leadership camp, I would say. It was that kind of thing. And so I didn't have nearly the time nor the stuff nor the requirements. This was like can girls learn how to like save themselves if they get a car? That's really what my goal was. And yeah, so I ended up making a 1-pager front and back that was kind of like a little cheat sheet. So it had all of the pictures, just like you were just showing on what the lights are on the dash, so you could kind of figure out, but just only the important ones. We didn't talk about the diesel ones because chances are you didn't have those. But like, what do you do when your check engine comes on? Should you how much should you freak out? That kind of thing. Definitely changed a tire, looked under the hood, try to figure out how to, not necessarily how to change the oil, check the oil, windshield wiper fluid, kind of easy stuff, but just so it's a little less intimidating that you're going to get your car. And there's still probably adult women that I know of that don't have any clue of what to do if something happens. So at least if it's something that you were like, well, I've looked under the hood before. So we didn't talk about here is a V6 versus a V8 versus an EV, right? Like I remember I brought something happened to my Mazda and I couldn't bring it, but I ended up using my mom's Mazda 5 and brought that with me. But, I probably brought a jack and probably didn't use the scissor jack. But anyway, I think it was just kind of a base level discussion on trying to empower women, girls, that if you're going to get a car, here are some basic things that you can remember. And then the 1-pager to kind of shove in your glove compartment. So you can say, okay, yeah, I remember these couple things, or here, I just had this light, or, red, yellow, things stop now, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I think it's minimal is easier. I mean, obviously the requirements on this are pretty significant,
Too
and
freaking long, yeah.
and yeah, I think that one of the bigger things that I would think of that would, with all of this, and it's really nice that you had pre-work, that this is learning by fire hose. Like I would, it's unfortunate almost that you're trying, especially since you had to stuff it into one day, to learn all this stuff and then you leave and you're like, wow, did you have fun in camp? Yeah, it rained the whole time. Did you learn something? Yeah, but
I
like
think.
there's so much there that, I feel like I've learned this in the last 20 years, and this is like, this is just so much, and there's so much superfluous stuff that is not necessarily helpful. Like insurance is great, right? But like, why am I focusing? I want to learn how to change a tire and how to understand how to change my, fluids. That's more important than figuring out which insurance is. I mean, I'm sorry, Chris. It's very important to you. But
It's not important to me. It's
No,
just
you don't. You call an insurance
my
agent.
mortgage. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So then call Chris and then he'll tell you if you have the right insurance. That's how you know if you have the right insurance. So, but that kind of stuff that if you're filling everything about a car ever, how to buy a new one or how to buy one, like these are like, you needed level 2, 3, and 4 for this. And it sounds like, it looks like the workbook had that with pre-work, and the day you did have that, but it's so
Yeah, it was rough.
much.
Yeah, I basically had 4 hours with each group, 2 hours, and then 2 weeks later, 2 hours, and like off the cuff, what does API mean on the oil? You know what I mean? Like
American Petroleum Institute or something
exactly,
like
but
that.
even I had to like take a lot of notes and like write down like what is this again? What is it? Like.
And that's the stuff that's like, why don't we just focus on the more important things that we need to, that you might actually remember later.
Well, and I did a lot of that.
In the defense, though, if you're staring at a jug of oil, you don't know what a single one of those letters or numbers mean. API is just as important as 5W40. So by having those answers, you can at least, okay, it means this. That's not important. What's important is this.
Yeah. And I did a lot of things like, what the kind of best kind of oil is? The kind that the car tells you it needs. How much air to put in? This is where to find the tag. Look at the caps. See right there where it says Dex Cool? You go to the store and you look for the bottle that says Dex Cool. Like the car will tell you what it needs. So,
and this is also
Dex
important
Cool.
for when you go to the your quick oil change places, and their business model is built on upgrades.
Yeah,
For the first 2 years we were married, Vicky paid I think $60 for fuel injector service.
Oh.
Yeah. Till I finally got her to stop doing that.
It's all right. I get my oil changed at the dealer.
Because you're bougie like that.
So bougie.
Because your wife gets free ones.
Well, yes.
Yes. Excellent.
Mental, do you have anything to add?
You've been dealing with the kids in cars lately. What you got something different?
These are all valid things. And growing up mine, and this has always been one of my challenges, is so much of my knowledge is patchwork. There's nothing connecting to it. There was no structure. Like I know how to do this one thing, but years ago, I want to say 2015 at NCM, we were setting the toe on a race car. Chris is like, how do you not know how to do this? It's never came up. So I learned how to do it on that one. And so there is a lot of, you need to kind of swallow your pride and or face your fears in this and just start speaking up when you don't know. And when you find these young people or even young adults saying, I don't know what that means, you have to resist the temptation to mock them and go, hey, let me walk you through this.
Noob.
Yeah.
Except Carburetor Boy. I made fun of Carburetor Boy the entire class. Listen here, Carburetor Boy. When I pulled up with the Corvette.
Did you called him Carburetor Boy?
Yeah. So he showed up to the class. He was in the afternoon class, so he showed up in the morning, like and walked by and was like, "Oh, good, we get to work on an American car today," because I had the Corvette there, and I was like, "It still don't have a carburetor."
So yeah, and there is this temptation to be very elitist and start going through this. when I taught the Sierra College class, it was telling that of the 5 kids that said they didn't know how to drive a stick, 3 of them were girls and 2 were guys. The guys, no effing clue how to drive a stick. The girls, all 3 of them, absolutely, totally could. Just believed that they could not. Don't know how they got there. Don't know what that means or anything like that. But like one of them, she got in the car and I'm like, okay, take this right, leave the track. We're going down the road. Because she 100% knew how to drive a stick, but had just been convinced that she didn't know how to. You know, and I don't know if that's socially ingrained because she was there with her boyfriend and her boyfriend was very, very supportive. And he said the same thing. He's like, yeah, she totally knows. She drives mine all the time and then says she doesn't know how to do it and all of this. But it is, you just, and you do have to recognize that they're coming from these different skill levels. And the thing about, the correct name of the tools. Oh, my grandpa always calls that the fucking stupid hammer because that's what, and that's how you learn it. So establishing just these basic comments. And then I think your genius in this, Jeff, was speaking to them in their own language. Here is a YouTube video with someone who is entertaining and it will establish that baseline. And you can go and watch this on your own without having to admit what you know and what you don't know, which is in any education situation, always something you're trying to overcome.
Funny, I had a ball peen. I had like 4 different hammers, and the video I gave him, the guy held up a claw hammer, and he's like, "No mechanic has a claw hammer in their stuff." And I was like, I held up the claw hammer, and they're like, "That's a claw hammer. You're not supposed to have that." And I said, "Yeah, we all have it. You know why? Because we also have houses, and we're not gonna have both." Then it held up like the ball peen. I held up the ball peen hammer, and I said, "What's this for?" And they're like, hitting things. And I pointed to the flat side and I'm like, that's stuff you don't want to dent. And I pointed to the ball side. And that's the stuff you do want to dent. They remembered that. So.
And I think
Don't try to fake hail damage with the ball peen hammer. We can tell.
Do people do that?
People do
Oh,
that?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
why else would he
Differences.
bring it up?
Hail,
I suppose.
hail will knock the granules of a roof off. A ball peen hammer will crush them into the tar. And that's how we can tell when people are trying to commit insurance fraud for a hail claim on a roof.
You know what? I learned something today.
Right. There you go.
Oh, back to insurance. Wow.
But if you're listening to this and you have knowledge, and if you're listening to this, you have knowledge. And you should, if you have the time, find something like this. Find that next generation out there. Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, the
Girl
local,
Scouts,
the robotics club at a local school or a university or something, or even just young people that ride up and down your neighborhood and want to come.
Anywhere
want to come talk to you about your car. The kid that approaches the cool car when you're at, coming out of the grocery store. Ooh, what is that? Oh, it's an Acura NSX. Here, let me show you this sort of thing. We owe it to them to stroke that kind of enthusiasm. We owe it to the hobby and we owe it to the youth.
Preach.
Yep.
I wish I had the fireworks. I would give you the fireworks.
I think I just said it that I do, but I don't know why it's not giving them to me.
I don't know why it's doing it either, but it's pretty funny.
That's hilarious.
Who knew that so many years later Zoom would still make us laugh?
I haven't been around. Do I still yell just the tip about now?
Are we done? Then I guess so.
Yeah, I guess so. Hey, what's your stories of teaching the youth? What have you helped make better about our hobby? Get a hold of us and let us know.
I forgot the call to action. Just the tip.
Yay.
Thank you.
It wasn't anything in the show notes, so I wasn't sure you were prepared.
Oh, I'm prepared.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know.
He's
I've
always
been
prepared.
If anything, I've been talking about the safety topic of the week at work. And so it's funny that before we started talking about all your tools, I actually was going to focus on using the proper tool. That was just what was already in my head. So I work in manufacturing. There's plenty of opportunity for people to you have a tool, you're going to use the wrong tool, you're going to try to make a tool, which also makes me think of like, I we have countless numbers of tools that are homemade because they are made better for whatever we needed it to. But of course at work, you're not supposed to use homemade tools, and that's a big no-no there. So obviously watch what you're using. Next time you go in your set of drawers, you say, you know what, this tool's pretty broken, just throw it away. Get rid of it safely, throw it away safely, depending on what it is. But just don't use it if it's going to hurt you, it's going to hurt somebody else. But the additional thing that I have on here is why I think it's funny. And when I was going to tell you about the hammers, is that I am going to make an annual safety quiz for my people at work, and it's fairly normal. It's pretty self-explanatory. Each question is taken from a different safety topic that we've talked about recently, so you should be able to ace it if you've been listening and that you were presented these safety topics. And one of them was talking about proper tools. It was the quiz question for that, and I had the whole bunch of normal ones that say, that make sure that you're not supposed to use homemade tools. If you need a different tool, talk to your supervisor. Anything can be a hammer, and something else. And so I am wondering how many people are going to laugh at the option for anything can be a hammer. I hope nobody is going to select that as the correct option. I thought it was hilarious by adding that as the question, and
anything can be a hammer.
Yes, right. So that's the one they're not supposed to check, because that's not the right answer, is that anything could be a hammer. And then of course I told my maintenance supervisor this, and I told him about the quiz question that's coming because he's going to have to take it. And I told him about that, and we laughed because he's like, I use pliers all the time. And I'm like, yeah, I know the answer of that most people have used something else as a hammer. It's just that is not the correct answer when talking about proper tool usage. So,
end of a screwdriver. How many times have you hit something with the end of a screwdriver?
Yes. Scissors.
Just yesterday.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I showed the kids a flat screwdriver, a pick, and a pry bar. And I said, which one of these will pry something loose? And they're like, all of them. No. This held up flat screwdriver is not a pry bar.
Which one of these will get stabbed through your hand when you're trying to pry something
but
loose?
if I'm opening a small can of paint, that's what I'm going to.
Sure.
Okay. Because I literally did that over the weekend.
We
so
all abuse our tools.
Mm-hmm. And when you break that screwdriver doing it, then you go to your grinder and grind it down into basically a shiv that you can use because sometimes you need those picks.
Yeah.
So, right.
That's exactly what I was thinking of when I'm thinking of homemade tools. I'm like, we have the little picky tool that has the little hook on the end. And like, we use that thing all the time, but I don't even know that one of them that didn't come with the set. And so I'm like,
bent a wrench and welded it back together because I needed to get around a corner.
Yep.
All right. So
I would be very
do what
interested.
I say, not I do, kids.
After the safety quiz is taken by your people,
yes,
I think we need to have a link to that. We need to put it online.
Sounds great.
And see how many of our listeners will.
Okay.
It
is
several of them. I am certain will deliberately get it wrong.
Sure. Well, and I just told you the answer. Don't pick that one.
There's the real answers and the lemons answers. So.
Correct. And it's all multiple choice or, true, false. Like it's a select, there's no write-ins because nobody got time for that, for 180 people's write-ins. So I will have data though on how many people chose that as an answer. And I'm not really sure what's going to happen if they do, because it's not great. They should be acing this quiz, because it's like, if OSHA shows up, I need to tell them that these people are trained. And if I have all these people that selected wrong answers, then what is that saying about my training? So it's a catch-22, but I think I'm funny by making that as the answer. So that's really what it comes down to.
Are you allowed to have it correctable to 100%?
What do you mean?
So,
if they get it wrong
for certain tests, yes, it was correctable to 100%. So you'd get it wrong and you had to sit down and then show them the right answer and why it was the right answer.
Oh, I might just go over it as the yes. I know that's probably what I'll do, but I'll still have all the quiz results. So sure, I'll happily. It's on a Google form. I'll see if I make a copy for Lemons people, not messing up my data for my work people. So stay safe. Look at your tools. If they're broken, if they're bad, get rid of them. Get new ones. It's worth it. That's it.
There's a Harbor Freight everywhere. No reason.
Right. Or Amazon. Okay.
Or Nellis Auctions, apparently.
Apparently.
Right.
right.
find out.
What are we talking about next week? Oh, we don't
We
know.
might be going to a race soon, so maybe we'll talk about that.
Oh,
That
maybe
seems like a
so.
nice
Yeah,
thing to talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
if we're going to do that kind of thing.
It's coming. Here it comes.
Yeah, NJMP preview. That's where we're going.
That's probably true.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
probably the best thing to do with that.
Okay.
So great.
Great. Jeff, it's so nice to see you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. My life has gotten so complicated. I mean, a 15-year-old is way more work than a 13-year-old. So even if I was still trying to be here, I probably would have been a terrible coworker or whatever in the last year or so. Because, man, it's been rough. But anyway, everyone's healthy. Everyone's fine. Nobody needs to email me. We're all good.
And you've got
And
banana
well,
ducks.
And clearly your
Banana dogs.
your kid is success. Your kid is succeeding.
Yeah. Yeah. He's great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Yes. Thank you, Jeff.
I
Thank you
see
for
Chris-
joining us.
I see Chris with a speaker.
I do. Can you hear it? The work?
Barely.
Wow, it's pretty loud. Anyway, hey, thanks for downloading us. Hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. Hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, building, and teaching the youths. Because anyone can really send kids the wrong way, especially these folks. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. Then go to iTunes, give us that 5-star rating. We don't care what you thought. 5 stars, and tell us why. We'll read it. Mental will have fireworks. It's great. Questions, show ideas, comments, drop them anywhere that we are. So that's Facebook, Everyone Racers, everyone.racer@gmail.com, all the other social medias, Everyone Racers. Text Mentals, pictures of your junk, 484-243-0455. Guess that's about it. Thanks again, everyone. Till next week, keep the shiny side up, unless there's no kids to have forced labor to change your oil. Or you have a shitty Bose speaker that just put a picnic table.
Jeff
next to it.
comes back for one episode and we have problems with
And
the
I have
wires.
wire
Shit,
problems.
I had wire problems
wireless
today.
stuff.
Like,
Aw.
man,
Boo.
somebody got to tell me how to make these fireworks. I'm so excited.